Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Nasdaq with Arshia. Today we're going to be looking at Berkshire Hathaway's annual meeting and its summary. Like my glasses? Yep, I know you do. So let's begin. And before we begin, I'm not a financial advisor and you should always do your own due diligence and research before taking part in any investment scheme. So, first things first, Buffett looked at Bitcoin, he looked at Robinhood, he looked at many things. So Warren Buffett addressed investors around the world on Saturday at Berkshire Hathaway 2021 annual shareholder meeting. In an hours-long event, the investing legend fielded questions on Berkshire's business and investment decisions, offered advice for first-time investors, and touted the strength of American corporations in a characteristically optimistic tone. Let's look more on that. So he says at 5:30 p.m. we're seeing substantial inflation of rising price pressures during the COVID-19 recovery, corroborating many market participants' concerns about increasing inflationary pressures. I'm just always thinking about my professor. Dang. I'm thinking about my final exams. Anyway. He also talked about many things like Robinhood and stuff. But this article is really long and I'm only going to be selecting what I feel is important. So on 4:26 p.m., Buffett explained pairing positions in bank stocks. So Buffett explained that Berkshire's move to unload many of its bank shares last year was not due to a lack of confidence in the banking industry, but more a decision to rebalance the portfolio and avoid being too heavily tilted toward one area. And it appears that we don't have anything else in this article, so let's move on to the next one. So, takeaways from this meeting. So, he says operating revenue and income up year over year for Berkshire Hathaway, which is great. Investment portfolio post market to market gain, great. Berkshire was not a big equities buyer in 2020, which is understandable because, quarantine, COVID, equals to disaster. We all know what happened. So Berkshire bought back $6.8 billion of its stock in quarter one and $24.7 billion in 2020. I'm laughing out of astonishment because this is ridiculous. I remember that Warren Buffett once said that I keep earning to buy back my company. And he is really funny. You should see one of his books. And in his biography, he had an interview. It was like a very old interview, but he said that I will go to my grave with McDonald's and Coke. And that just made me laugh. And I couldn't really keep a straight face while reading that book, but let's move on. So, in our CNBC article, first up, they discussed the shareholder meeting. Buffett looks forward to 2022 event in Omaha. So they're having the shareholder meeting in Omaha in 2022, which I really look forward to seeing that. And Buffett and Munger issued dire warning on Robinhood gamifying trading. Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger said commission-free trading app Robinhood was feeding off the speculative trading in the stock market and contributing to it. So we're going to pause here for a second. So what does he mean? So basically, see, Warren Buffett is a long-term investor, right? So trading is not really his jam. He doesn't believe in trading. And on my personal opinion, that's also the same thing. I like long-term investing more because I feel it's better for me, but you can do whatever you prefer. So anyway, he is a long-term investor and he believes that it's very risky, that trading is very risky and it's not worth it and it's feeding off the speculation and it's adding to the temptations of Americans to gamble. Let's move on and let's read what he's saying more. He says that it's become a very significant part of the casino group that has joined into the stock market in the last year or year and a half. Buffett said while noting he was really looking forward to reading the company's IPO filing. Clever guy. So Munger's criticism towards Robinhood was even more harsh. Robinhood and other brokers rely on a controversial practice called payment for order flow as their profit engine in lieu of commissions. We all know Charlie Munger to be a little more harsh. So Munger's criticism was that he says that is really waving the flag at the bull. I think it's just god awful that something like that brought investments from civilized men and decent citizens. It's deeply wrong. We don't want to make our money selling things that are bad for people. So Robinhood is set to go public this year and attracted a record number of new retail investors. But that's the problem, that some people think it's ethically controversial. And also the same issue on Bitcoin. So we all know that Bill Gates and all these old-timer, very wizened investors don't exactly like Bitcoin, but Charlie Munger just went out on it. He just vented out on it. He just called Bitcoin disgusting and contrary to the interests of civilization. So Berkshire Hathaway Vice Chairman Charlie Munger took aim at Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies during the conglomerate's annual meeting on Saturday. I think the whole damn development is disgusting and contrary to the interests of civilization, said Munger. Buffett's right-hand man called Bitcoin a financial product invented out of thin air. Of course I hate the Bitcoin success, Munger said. I don't welcome a currency that is so useful to kidnappers and extortionists. Which I might argue, if you go back to any of my crypto videos, we can see that the blockchain is really secure. So what happens basically is that whenever you make a transaction in the blockchain, it has this ledger which thousands of computers, millions of computers have stored in their drive all over the world, and they keep track of who is sending money to who. So that prevents kidnapping and extortionist money and money laundering. So, point. Buffett avoided the question on Bitcoin because he said he didn't want to get grief from everyone who is long Bitcoin relative to the few people who are short the digital asset. So what he did is he basically just kind of dodged it. He didn't really want to offend people, or because he felt it was a very controversial subject, which is smart. And Buffett and Munger not worried about potential tax hikes. So this one's interesting. So Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger said the proposed corporate tax rate hike from the Biden administration would be a negative for shareholders, but they are not particularly worried about it and the company will adapt. Buffett noted that some companies try to fearmonger by saying the tax rates will be passed through to customers. It's a corporate fiction when they put out statements about the fact that it will be terrible for all of you people. Buffett, who is a Democrat and said he voted for Biden, said he doesn't like to get into policy specifics during Berkshire events. He did point out that the corporate tax rate was significantly higher early in his career, above 50%. And that is really, really big. Overall, I'd say this meeting, 2021 Berkshire annual meeting, was very, very hot topic, fast-paced, and I feel that it did hit on some very controversial topics that would otherwise been just, nudged aside. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found anything in this video helpful, please be sure to like, subscribe, and please leave your thoughts in the comments below. And once again, make sure to subscribe. Thank you.